Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Onika, and I'm excited to be back with another video because this is the first video in the Wellness Wheel series. I recorded and posted a video a few weeks ago talking about the Wellness Wheel. I believe it's called the Intro to the Wellness Wheel. And so this is the first video in that series, and we're going to be talking about social wellness. So just a quick recap of how these videos will go. They will just be kind of quick videos explaining what that wellness is, why it's important, and ways to improve it. So I just want these, videos to give you an idea and help you understand that there's more to wellness and health besides nutrition and physical wellness. There are a lot of factors that affect our lives, and also seeing how the different dimensions are connected. When one area of your life isn't doing well, that could affect other areas, and if you kind of leave it in this negative state, then it can kind of keep going around that wheel, affecting other areas potentially. Or if you're just focusing on one area, say like occupational, where you're just really focused on your career and making that money, and you're kind of forgetting about social wellness. So you don't have any connections. When you're stressed, you don't have anyone to go out to. So it really, they're all connected. Sometimes we forget that, but they are. Social wellness. When I think of social wellness, I immediately think of connection. I think of, being a part of something, a sense of belonging, and having just good, healthy relationships, having someone to reach out to. In this quick video, I'm going to be referencing a research paper that I found, and I'll link it in the description box below if you want to read it in its entirety yourself. But I will be referencing from that study. And a definition I found in there was a definition on connection by Dr. Edward Halloway. And he also made a book called Connect, which I have added to my book list. It sounds really interesting, but I really liked his definition of connection. So I'm just going to read it. Dr. Edward Halloway, his definition of connection is feeling a part of something larger than yourself, feeling close to another person or group, feeling welcomed and understood. So I think that that's a pretty clear definition of connection, and I think connection and social wellness really go hand in hand. I know for me, when I think of social wellness or, connection, I automatically think of people in solitary confinement. Because I'm like, those people they're like in, one of the worst positions that they probably could be in life, where they're locked up, their freedom's taken away, and they don't have any interaction with someone in their life, someone that's good for them, good to them, someone who's willing to listen to them, and make them feel understood about their situation. So I just can't imagine kind of like the mental hit that they're experiencing. Because I think that's clear how social wellness can really affect your mental well-being, and also your physical well-being. If you don't feel understood or like you're a part of something, I can definitely see how that makes you feel isolated. It makes you feel lonely. I think it also takes a hit on your spiritual wellness, because then you start thinking, what's my purpose if I'm locked up away by myself, no one to talk to? So that's a rough situation, and we can probably start to think, situations where we have felt alone, where we've felt misunderstood. And then we can think of situations where we have met people that we just click with, they just get us, and it just feels so good and refreshing. And it almost gives you like a little, pep in your step. Like, okay, what I'm going through, someone else understands. Like, I don't feel alone. I feel connected. I really feel like I can get through this because this person has, and this person has my back and support. Versus if you don't have that, it's like, okay, I'm going about this by myself. No one gets me. The world's against me. I've definitely felt all of that moments of my life. And it really takes a toll on your mental well-being as well. And that's another thing I just want to emphasize with social wellness. It's having nurturing relationships. Okay, so like you could have a lot of friends, a lot of relationships, but if they're not healthy, if they're not supportive, nurturing, then it doesn't necessarily mean that you have good social wellness. Just because you have a lot of people, it's definitely quality over quantity. Because I'm sure that we have all been in situations where we've had people kind of in our circle that weren't, they weren't the best for us. They were negative or toxic, as I don't know why I put air quotes around that, because there are toxic people or people that have toxic traits that aren't good for us. So I really want to emphasize that it is quality over quantity when it comes to your relationships. So that's what social wellness is. It's feeling connected, having good, healthy relationships, that sense of belonging, having your tribe of people that's supporting you, feeling understood, feeling welcomed. If you have that and you feel that, you probably have pretty good social wellness. And also being able to understand someone else and making someone else feel welcome. So it's not just, receiving all of that, but being able to give it. So if you're able to, you're receiving it from, wonderful, positive people in your life, and you're able to give it back, then you're probably doing well in this area of your life. And hopefully that is trickling over into other dimensions of wellness. Why is this important? And I kind of touched on this briefly with, what social wellness is. But we are, as humans, we are social beings. We need that interaction with people. We might not need a lot. Some people are fine with like 2 people in their life, but as long as they have that person to go to or to talk to, they are able to fill up kind of like their social wellness tank. But one of the things that I read in the study is that social wellness can actually have a huge impact on your physical health. And I thought this was super interesting, but it talked about a lot of different medical illnesses like diabetes. It even talked about cancer, high blood pressure, and some of the studies they were doing were putting people, obviously they had a control group. An example, the diabetes, they had a control group where the patients would go to a lecture style presentation about diabetes and A1C and glucose. And then there was another group, this peer group, where they would have more interaction with other people. They were allowed to bring other people in to learn about, again, diabetes and glucose, but they had more interaction with each other instead of just sitting and listening. And what they found was that the people in the peer group setup had their glucose levels lowered by, I think, like 0.80%, whereas people in the lecture group, I think it was like 0.4% or something like that. But the people in the peer group had a larger positive impact on their health because they did have that interaction style. And so it was a similar in the study for high blood pressure and for cancer, where people were put in these situations where they were interacting with more people, they had more access to others that had gone through what they had gone through versus the control group where it was kind of like they were on their own. Now, granted, both groups had success, but the ones that were interacting more had more success, lower blood pressure, lower A1Cs, also lower risk of obesity, which I thought was interesting, especially as a weight loss coach. So one thing that I wrote this down because I was like, that is really interesting. But it says that, and this is kind of going back to isolation, but it said 2013 study by Pantel and his colleagues concluded that socially isolated individuals have increased risk of mortality. Going back to my example about solitary confinement, I think that makes sense, because again, it affects your mental health. We are seeing how it can affect your physical health. If you're isolated, if you're not around supportive people, chances are you could have higher levels of high blood pressure or obesity. And I remember they mentioned in the study that people, even if they do have obesity, when they have their support system and, friends and family around them, they tend to live longer than people that don't have any health issues but are by themselves or don't have social wellness tank is almost empty. So I thought that was very interesting. And of course, that got me thinking about a million other things, but it just shows how social wellness has such a huge impact, especially for someone who has like health issues, being able to live a little longer than someone who doesn't because they have that connection and that sense of belonging. I thought that was really interesting. Comment down below if you think that, if you've kind of seen that before, where you do see where people that have, a tribe of their own and they have good, healthy connections, but they might be, struggling with their physical health. They might have some type of disease, but it just seems like they're still going at it. They're still kicking it because they have the support that they have. I definitely could talk more about why it's important, obviously. So again, comment down below if you would, in future videos would like me to revisit social wellness and kind of expand more on why it's important and maybe expand more on some of the studies I found because I would like to read more studies about it. So yeah, ways that you can enhance your social wellness or improve your social wellness, and I'm sure you can probably think of some. One is to reach out to a friend, reach out to people, and again, positive friends, the relationships that you have that are good, healthy, positive. Reach out to those people daily or, at least once a week just to talk, to see how they're doing, listen to them, and also have someone listen to you, the things that are going well or things that might not be going well, just to have someone to talk to. You can volunteer. Volunteering is an amazing way to connect with people. And again, it's kind of that, what it said in that definition about feeling a part of something larger. I think volunteering is a perfect way to do that. Getting involved in things that you enjoy. So if you're, listening to this and maybe you're an introvert and you're like, I don't really like people like that. But I'm sure you have hobbies, and again, being able to connect with someone about something that you really enjoy, I think that's different than just going out and talking to people randomly. So find different activities that you like. So if you like reading, join a book club. If you like chess, if you like different sports, there's so many opportunities outside that you could take advantage of. I love the Meetup app. I actually need to get on that more, but I used to, go to a bunch of different events from a bunch of different groups from the Meetup app. because I just like to connect, and I want to find people that have similar interests that, understand me. Those are just a few ways to improve your social wellness. Again, I really enjoyed this particular dimension of the wellness wheel because, as you can kind of see and hear, that it is a really important part of wellness, and they all are. But I think that social wellness, especially it being one where I'm sure at some point in our lives we've all struggled with feeling understood and connected. I know I have. And I know I get into kind of bouts of, loneliness, where I might purposely isolate myself because I feel like I'm going through something that people wouldn't understand. But because I have good, healthy relationships, as soon as I reach out to someone, I feel so much better in those situations. I reach out, and it just makes me feel a lot better and makes me feel not as alone. I could get to rambling all day, but let me know in the comments section what you thought of this video, how social wellness is showing up for you. I actually have some questions. So when I got certified as a health coach, that's when I learned about the wellness wheel, and we had this kind of quick quiz. I think there were maybe like 5 or 6 questions, something like that, for each wellness. So I'm going to put some questions down below for you to answer, just to kind of see, so you can test a little bit of where your social wellness is, and if it seems like that's an area where you could use some improvement. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, share it with anyone who you feel like this would help them. Comment down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.